So I was born in Iran and I moved to America when I was 7 years old. And we were here for 2 years, and this was before the revolution. So we were actually the only Iranians in our town. And it was such a big deal that the local newspaper did an entire story on us, by the way, which is behind me, right on that wall.
Uh-huh.
And our only reason for being in the paper is that we were Iranian. So this lets you know like how rare it was. It was like being a polar bear in Hawaii. It was really
Right.
a spectacle. So anyway, we were here for 2 years, then we went back to Iran, and then we came back,
Right.
and we were here when the revolution happened. And I saw the way after the hostages were taken, the way all Americans just kind of hated Iran and hated Iranians.
Right.
And I think this is why I ended up becoming a writer, because I just thought, wow, people really jump on that hatred bandwagon so quickly. And when I became a mom, I wanted to tell my stories because I came from a family that was funny and lovable. And I thought,
Mhm.
we can't, there needs to be some Iranians out there who are not scary. So I took that mantle.
Yeah, you don't seem scary to me, which is
I
lovely.
have a scary side, Barry.
So when you first moved to the United States, where did you move to?
So we moved to Whittier, California.
What brought your family to California, and then why did you go back to Iran and then come back?
So my father was an engineer with the National Iranian Oil Company, and he had a 2-year assignment to help an American company build an oil refinery in Iran. And it's so
Right.
funny that we're talking about this today, because obviously in the news right now, it's all about Iran, America, oil. So this was the world I grew
Right.
up in. And so here we are.
And here we are again. Yeah. So how many books have you written?
I have written 3 books and many, many articles for New York Times, LA Times, NPR. I have one screenplay not sold. If you're in the market, Barry, for a screenplay, let me know. I have one. Lots
As
of
long
speeches.
as I can be the star.
Absolutely. Well, as long as you can be an Iranian man, sure.
Yeah.
Betty. We'll make you Betty.
Yeah. So and your first book is called Funny in Farsi?
Yes. That was my first book. Yeah.
What made you decide to start writing? What was the thing that put the pen to the paper?
Well, so having grown up in America, I never saw myself in a book or a movie or a TV. And people, when we first came to America in 1972, most people we encountered had literally never heard of Iran, which was so odd to us because we always knew we're a small country, but we're like, wow, you've never heard of Iran. And they'd ask us, like, do you ride camels? We'd say no. We had a Chevrolet. They'd ask us about tents, electricity. So truly, the average American in the 1970s had absolutely no idea about Iran. And then after the revolution, when everyone decided that we were enemy number one, by the way, I'm not sure how much times have changed because I feel like we're back there again. But
Yeah.
so when I had kids, I thought, wow, I really want my children to know who I am. I want them to understand who their mother is, where I came from. And so I had to write the book that did not exist. And the one thing was, I grew up with a father who was just the funniest man I've ever known. And there was so much laughter with him. And nobody ever associated humor and Iran, ever. So when I wrote Funny in Farsi, the hardest part was finding an agent, because everyone said to me, and this was like 26, 27 years ago, everyone said, humor and Iran? Yeah, I don't think that goes together. I don't think, yeah, no, no.
Yeah, but what made you keep trying to get an agent?
I have this terrible personality that when I think something needs to be done, I can't quit. I cannot quit.
Right.
It served me well most of my life, also not well. Sometimes it's good to quit.
So the book, was it just short stories that you wanted to share with your kids originally?
Yes, it was just vignettes about my life, about how, for example, one of the stories is when we came to America, I had never been to a supermarket. I had never had access to television the way, and at that time there was channel 2, 4, 5, 7, 9, 11, and 13, which I know now seems like nothing.
Right.
But back then it was like, wow. I mean, you can watch TV all day if you wanted, which I did.
Right.
But then my dad decided to take up bowling, which was so exotic. And, he joined a bowling group, and then he went on a show called Bowling for Dollars. And,
Mm-hmm.
it was a show that was once a week and everybody watched it. And I think the top prize was like $200 or something, which was so huge at the time. And my dad went, and I don't want to give away the story, but yeah, he didn't live up to our expectations. Let's just say he got very nervous on camera.
Right.
So it's just vignettes, and it's also about what happened after the revolution and how our lives change and what it means to be Iranian in America. But it's ultimately it's a love letter to both cultures. So it's not what people think when they think, oh, it's a memoir written by an Iranian woman. It's quite different.
Why the word, why Farsi? Is that the...
Well, so I did not pick the title because the language in English is actually called Persian. Farsi is the word in Persian. So it's like saying I speak Espanol. You would say I speak Spanish. But my agent loved the alliteration of funny and Farsi. And I said, yeah, but it's technically not correct. And clearly you can see I did not win that argument. So the publisher loved it too. So
yeah, I mean, I think I heard an interview you did one time where you said that you got a lot of people writing nasty emails about the title, right?
Yeah, a lot of Iranians are like, it's not Farsi. It should be funny in Persian. And I'm like, no, I know. I actually know this.
But it doesn't roll off the tongue the same way, right?
But then, so it's funny in Farsi. Whether people like it or not, it's too late.
When did you start to see that it was becoming successful? Because a New York Times bestselling book, right?
Right. So before Funny in Farsi came out, I was reading my stories on air for an NPR station in the Bay Area.
Okay.
It was a very small NPR station, but it was enough so that when my book came out, it made the LA Times bestseller list and the San Francisco Chronicle, sort of these local bestseller lists. And then it started dying off because, as you know, there are just books being published constantly. So believe it or not, after like 9 months, it was dying. And I remember like being told it's going to be taken off the shelves because it's just not selling that much anymore. And then the lifesaver was that there was a program in Orange County called Orange County Reads One Book. And it was a community reading program. And they picked Funny in Farsi. So they invited me down for 3 weeks. And for 3 weeks, I spoke at every library, every book club, every senior home. And God, what a great training ground it is to actually read at senior homes. I mean, that is the best audience to practice with. I spoke at schools and then took off after that. So thank you, Orange County Reads One Book. It was really educators that and the reason the book is as popular as it is, it's used in schools all over the country, junior highs and high schools, really popular with students. Because you don't get that many books on your reading list that are funny. I mean, you actually don't have any. And yet it's really it's a very educational book. So that combo has made it a real winner in the classroom.
How do you think, because I think it's probably some of the topics you touch on in your books are pretty heavy things, but you use humor, right?
Right.
Well, how do you think humor helps people to navigate some of the tough things?
I think humor is very disarming. And the secret to humor is, my dad was very funny, but he was very, very kind. Because you can use humor to be very mean. And so what I learned was that there's a lot of humor in just life. People are just funny. Families are funny. And we have so much more in common than we think. And so when I wrote Funny in Farsi, I did not set out to write a funny book. It just turned out that way. And the truth is, I love my fellow man. I mean, I'm one of these people I'm an eternal optimist. I believe that most people are inherently good. And, I talk to the person next to me in the airplane. I want to apologize for people who hate that. I mean, if you don't want to talk, I don't talk. But I am what you would call a friendly person. So I think the book is just a reflection of that.
And who do you find to be your readers? Who are the people?
Well, that's a great question because my readers are age 9 to 99, every background you can imagine. I mean, I've traveled all over because of this book, and I've gone to like the Deep South and spoken for really conservative people. I've spoken in very liberal places, all ages. It just resonates because it's about families. It's about being an outsider. It's about growing up, and the experiences in the book everybody has had. maybe not specific to being Iranian in America, but the experience of growing up and finding out who you are and finding out where you belong. These are just universal experiences.